Welcome back to Mindful Minecraft number 4. So, this time I think I'm going to focus more on distress tolerance skills that I've learned throughout my time. Again, not a professional, just have some learned experience through life. Um, some of my favorite distress tolerance skills, as we're going through in Minecraft here today, are actually the tip skills. The tip skills involve temperature and utilizing ice. You utilize them in certain areas in the body, like holding it in your hand until it melts. One of my favorites, either side of your temple. And then there's also soaking your whole head in a bucket of water, but you do it in a particular way. So, for me, I like it because the diver's reflex. Basically, it shuts down certain parts of the brain when you enter this diver's reflex because your body thinks you're going underwater. So certain emotions will go down because your body is putting blood in different parts of your brain, from how I understand it at least. So what I like to do is take a big deep breath and then put an ice cube on either temple and put your head between your knees as you do that. That kind of tricks your body into thinking that you're going underwater and helps calm things down for a little bit. So if you're having a rough moment, feel free to give it a try. I will say sometimes it gives me a headache, but sometimes a headache is better than whatever emotion is going on. So. The tip skills through the diver's reflex. One of my favorite techniques. So those are the tip skills. Some pretty good distress tolerance skills to use, but usually for when emotions are a little bit higher. When you're just struggling with emotions and they're not quite as high, but you're dealing with an emotion that's still strong, I like to think of the analogy of a turtle on a conveyor belt. Just kind of picturing, your emotions going by, noticing them, and then letting them pass. Nothing ever truly lasts forever, including emotions, which can be helpful sometimes. Not all the bad emotions are going to last forever, even if it feels that way. So it's important just to sit back and imagine your emotions on a conveyor belt. Maybe as different turtles. That's kind of cute. But just imagine your emotions that way. Be kind to yourself. You just gotta get through the moment, because another one will appear next. Just sit with it for a minute if you have to. But another thing that helps sometimes, when it's extra persistent, is opposite action. For example, sadness. You just kind of want to turn in on yourself, not talk to people, isolate. So instead of sadness, opposite action would be engaging, doing things, talking, activities. Sometimes when I'm down, I make YouTube videos, especially Mindful Minecraft. Helps you stay in the moment. Maybe it helps someone else go through it too. That makes it worth it for sure. So another really good one for opposite action is actually when you're experiencing anger. Opposite action isn't always easy, but it works really well for me. So for opposite action for anger, it's approach again, but in a different way. It's kindness. It's if you can't treat the person you're upset with kindness, someone else or yourself. We often forget to treat ourselves with kindness in those moments. And that is opposite action. Being kind to yourself when you're angry at someone else is a good opposite action to help get you out of that mind space. So whether it's sadness or anger or anxiety or whatever you're feeling, opposite action can be helpful to get you out of that headspace. I try not to distract too hard because I don't want that to seem like avoidance. And I always want to try and approach these things. So for me, it's usually kindness towards myself. And again, just kind of talking about it, which for me is usually making a video. But get it out there. Use your voice in a kind way. Let's all use some skills together. Mention in the comments which ones work best for you. Another one we did in prior episodes is square breathing. I'm a big fan of square breathing, but that's more mindfulness and self-soothe. Which, for some distress tolerance, self-soothe can be helpful, but it is a different category, technically. Now, for more distress tolerance, one thing that's really helpful is called grounding. Now, grounding can be helpful for a lot of things. If you're experiencing big emotions or having bad memories, it can be helpful to ground in the moment. So that looks differently for different people, like seeing 5 different colors, hearing 4 different sounds, smelling 3 different things, tasting 2 different things, or feeling a different texture. It's 5 all the way through 1, and picking the different senses. I usually pick sight for 5 because there's so many different things to see. So there's lots of different distress tolerances. I like feeling different textures as well. That can be really helpful, help ground you, pull you out of it, whether it's something nice and soft and fluffy, maybe coarse and tough, kind of pulls your attention. So that can be helpful. More grounding techniques. And another one that's actually kind of simple to do but not often thought of is actually standing on one foot. I used to use this one a lot. So if you're struggling to balance your emotions, maybe just balance on one foot for a little bit. Pull your attention away from what's going on. And I'm not saying standing on one foot or opposite action is going to make you feel completely better, but just a little bit better is the goal. And then you use another skill to keep on going. It's not easy, but we're all worth that effort. We got this. So just a couple more things I want to mention before we wrap up for this episode. So one thing that helps me for distress tolerance is nostalgia, but not too much. It has to be mindful nostalgia. I've got a playlist on YouTube that I use for all my nostalgia elements, games, videos, whatever. And I'll engage with that, happy memories from my childhood, specifically video games, to help bring me out of it. But that has to be mindful because it's easy to get lost in that. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was video games, is that being mindful about it can actually be really helpful when you're struggling. But that's the hard part, is to be mindful. It's easy to just suck in hours and hours into gaming. And while that's not bad in itself inherently, not taking breaks to take care of yourself, eat, drink water, go to the bathroom, making sure that hygiene is taken care of, making sure that you're still standing up and stretching, going on walks, diversifying with your life. It's okay to play lots of video games, but adding, more into your life is so important. So for me, I in my head refer to it as mindless recording when I'm recording in the beginning, but it's time boxed, the footage, and then mindful recording is usually when I'm doing the voiceovers. But I time box everything so that I'm not spending too much time on any one thing, and I'm trying to be really intentional with my actions, so that I can really try and get the most benefit and, the best life, I guess, that I can to fight for myself for. And you guys deserve that too, so that's why I'm sharing. So if you do decide to immerse in games for a bit to try and feel better, preserve that feeling, because if you engage in it so much, you may not feel that same way if that's all you do. So, for example, my favorite soda, I only have it once or twice a year because it's so good. I never want to lose that love I have for it. So you gotta protect it a little. Doesn't mean it has to be that dramatic when it comes to gaming, but making sure that you're in a good mood when you're playing, stopping, taking a deep breath, or using some self-soothe skills if something annoying happens so that you can continue enjoying your experience, and then time boxing it so that everything's nice and mindful. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this little mental health experience jargon in Mindful Minecraft 4. Stay safe out there and enjoy your own personal Divergent quest.